So I had a massive scare yesterday that I just want to talk about. So I got back home, the journey was fine. But when I came back, I found that one of my fish tanks had no water in it. There had been a crack and all the water had fallen out, which was very shocking because it was the one for my female fishes, female guppies and baby orange ones. And just before I'd left, I noticed that the pineapple orange one had given birth to 8 babies. So there was about 12 orange and blacky ones, and then there was about 8 mini tiny ones. So there was quite a lot in there, but luckily there was about that much water left in the bottom, so they were all still alive. Not one of them died. Can you believe it? There was about 20 guppies, maybe 30 guppies, a lot of them half-sized, 30 guppies, a lot of them half-sized, about 5 fully grown ones, and then a few in between half-sized and fully grown, and then a couple of small guppies. But yeah, and then like 28. So there's quite a lot of fish in a very small water, so they wouldn't have had a nice time. I'm surprised that the water was actually, because even though the water level had gone and the thermostat that heats the water had blown, it has to be kept in water, otherwise the glass cracks, or the fuse goes or whatever. So that's broken. But it was an old one. It was the first one that I got, and I noticed a few months ago it was starting to act up, like it wasn't quite working properly. So I did actually buy a spare heater thermometer thing, and I've had that in the cupboard for the last 2 months. So I was prepared. And the motor was running. There was just no water spinning around in it, so the water would have been very dirty. But I looked to see how many days it had been like that, and I noticed there was like a 10p drop on the Saturday, so or the 10th, and I got back on the evening of the 13th. So they would have been in probably a very small, that would have been when the heater broke. So it was only 10p a day to heat the water, but it has been quite hot. So I think the water has been kind of more or less kept at a high temperature. So it was only 10p. I noticed there was a 10p drop at that point. So that would have been when the heater stopped working. So they would have been in there they would have been without water for about 3 days, which is pretty bad. But they're all alive. They're all okay. None of them have got sick and died in the last 24 hours. And so yeah, that was a bit of a shock, but I'm glad. I think it's because when there was a lot of pressure, it was squeezing the water out. The crack is a big crack. There's a whole big crack at the bottom of the fish tank. It was a cheap one. I paid about £50 for it, and it included a filter and heater. So maybe I just bought a cheap fish tank. But yeah, it's that they're all alive. That's the important thing. So I've still got my fish, and I've actually put them. I don't know if you can see it, but